In this video, I want to go over a few panels: the output monitor, the CPU panel, the time panel, the online panel, the shortcut panel, and the extra shortcut panel. I want to combine these because they aren't as in-depth as the other panels, so we'll cover them all at once. Again, these are panels that can be hidden or made visible by right-clicking the docking area and choosing what you want to be seen. Your monitor display resolution will determine how much space you have to work with, but even if you have a monitor at a lower resolution, you can still undock the panels and place them wherever you'd like. The first panel I'd like to discuss is the output monitor panel. This gives you a graphical representation of the output coming through your monitors. This volume level is controlled by the master volume in the file menu toolbar, which we'll discuss in another video. The output monitor has three settings, which are oscilloscope, which shows you an oscillating display, spectrum, which is a new feature in FL8 and shows you a spectral display, and an off position, which turns off the display entirely. These three modes can be changed by left-clicking the little icon beneath the display. You can also look at the hint bar to see which setting you are hovering over. The output monitor also gives us a peak meter, which functions in spectral and oscilloscope mode, which is turned off in off mode. You can also right-click the scope area and select one of three effects. One is stereo, which displays the data in stereo mode. Another is long, which holds out the waveform to give a longer display time. And ghost mode, which allows the display to fade away, giving you an overall view of the waveform. These effects can be useful in analyzing your material. You'll also notice that as you hover over the peak meter, the cursor turns into a crosshair and the hint bar displays decibel information. Next, we have the CPU meter. This shows a graphical representation of how much CPU is being used, how much RAM is being used, and how many notes are being played at one time. The CPU meter reads as a graph, scrolling from right to left, and will turn red as you approach your computer's limit. The RAM display shows how much RAM is being used, and this display can be changed by right-clicking on it and choosing between how much RAM is being used versus how much RAM is left. You can also change the refresh rate for the CPU panel by choosing between slow, medium, and fast. It's a good idea to keep the CPU meter in sight so that you can tell if you're pushing your machine too hard. The poly display shows you how much polyphony is taking place. Next, we have the time panel, which shows us different displays of time in FL Studio. We can change this by using the small icons to the left of the digits. We have four options. These are time mode, which shows us actual minutes and seconds, step mode, which counts the steps as in the step sequencer, beat mode, which counts the beats regardless of steps, and bar mode, which shows us how many bars have played. In some cases, you can combine these. For instance, if you have the display set on step and bar mode, the first digits in the display will show you the bar and the second set of digits will count the steps. If you were using bar and beat, the first digit again shows the bar and the second set of digits shows us the beats. If you use minute display, the step/beat display doesn't change anything and the time will be displayed as minutes and seconds. These settings are helpful if you're recording and would like a visual representation of the time and rhythm information. After this, we have the online panel, which is a great feature for keeping up with the latest news and releases from ImageLine. If you left-click on the online panel, it will attempt to connect to the FL Studio website servers to get the latest news. You must be connected to the internet to use this feature. Once connected, the latest headline will display at the top, and you can left-click again to view any previous updates. These can then be selected and a page will open in your web browser to give you more information. You can click on the down arrow icon on the right to open the content library for FL Studio. We'll cover the content library in a bit, but this is where you can download tons of free samples, drum kits, and schematics for SynthMaker. The last two panels we'll cover here are the shortcut and extra shortcut panels. These two panels offer us some pre-made shortcut buttons to access some common actions in FL Studio. First, in the shortcut panel, we have buttons to access the different windows of FL Studio. You can left-click these buttons to open and close the specific windows. From left to right, we have the playlist, the step sequencer, the piano roll, the browser, and the mixer. These also have shortcut keys which can be seen in the hint bar as you roll over each button. Using either the shortcut toolbar or the shortcuts on the keyboard is a great way to save time and improve your workflow. On the extra shortcut panel, we have some common actions which again will save you time and increase your productivity. From left to right, we have the undo button, which will undo your action based on how you set up your preferences and the settings and options which we discussed in the previous tutorial. You also have a save button, which allows you to quickly save your project, a render button, which allows you to export your project in one of the accepted audio formats, and a button to open a new instance of Edison, which is FL Studio's audio editor. Next, we have a button for one-click audio recording. This will give you the option to either record into Edison or into the playlist as an audio clip. You'll be prompted to choose an audio input if you have one. Finally, we have buttons for viewing the project info, which we also discussed in the settings and options video, and a help button, which we already know is the F1 key. With the tools that we just discussed in this video, we can see that FL Studio offers us many options for viewing and analyzing our music, as well as offers us some intuitive tools for quickly navigating through our project. Remember, you can always look to the hint bar if you ever forget what something is or does, and you will be reminded, as well as shown any keyboard shortcuts associated with that particular control. Once you get used to the setup and have customized FL Studio in the way that works best for you, you'll be flying through your projects and letting your creativity loose. Coming up, we'll discuss some more panels, and then we'll be ready to dive in and start making music.